And welcome to today's second bout, second weekly. Do this again. Three, two, one. And welcome to the second week that we have been featuring the GSW Match of the Week here on the Big Paulie's World of Sports Sins. This is a series of matches that we'll be doing once every week that I use wrestling's finest for, Tommy Vogel's fine game. And tonight it's going to be Farmer Burns, the GSW World Heavyweight Champion, taking on Bert Assirati. And we will recap the card from Honolulu, Hawaii, that this match appears on as the main event in just a moment. And recapping what's already happened on the card tonight, Cola Coriani was scheduled to face Ric Flair for the Western title. Flair holds both the Southern and Western title, but Coriani was a no-show. The board of directors of the Western Circuit suspended Coriani for 6 weeks as a result of not showing up for a title defense, and he will be on a 13-week probation. Whereas once he comes back, if he no-shows again, he will be suspended an additional 13 weeks. Mystico and Edge, who are both former GSW champions in the various alignments GSW has had in its 3 years, went to a 30-minute draw. The Pitbulls beat the Nightmares in 15 minutes. Dick Murdoch and Bob Armstrong went to a 30-minute draw. Cactus Jack and Dick the Bruiser went at it in the fourth bout, and Bruiser won by pin in 17:26. The Millers defeated the Black Japan tag team of the Great Buddha and Masachono 4 minutes and 20 seconds by countout. Big Van Vader upset the Crusher with a power slam at 19:11 to win that bout. The last non-title bout, and the non-title bouts in GSW are all 30-minute time limits, and the title bouts are 60 unless otherwise noted. Bob Sapp upset Paul Jones by DQ. Jones was not happy that Sapp filled in for Tiger Mask, who got promoted up to the Western title match in Cola Coriani's absence. Misawa and Kawada, the Western Tag Team Champions, the Japanese duo of Mitsuki Misawa and Toshiaki Kawada, they beat Brody and Hansen by disqualification when the busted open Bruiser Brody wouldn't break a hold. Ric Flair defeated Tiger Mask in 15 minutes even, used brass knuckles, but Flair was dominating that bout. And that brings us to our main event, Farmer Burns versus Bert Assirati. Now, I will show you how I set this up. Burns is the champion, so we note that. It's a 60-minute time limit. Bert has to win by pinfall or submission. I beg your pardon. Within 60 minutes, or Farmer Burns retains the title, which he has done now. This is the 53rd week of his reign as champion. There is a hold trade that can take place. Now, my house rules are that if both men have the exact same combination of trade, then I cancel them out. But that is not the case here. Suplex to headbutt for Assirati. Assirati, you may not have ever heard of Bert Assirati if you are not from Europe, but he was a European great who was blackballed basically by European wrestling for he had a tendency to like hurting his opponents, and he liked to shoot on people. And the greats of the day would not take him on in matches, so he did not really get a chance at being champion. Actually, he was champion of one of the British federations for a while, but you never knew what you were going to get with Assirati, so they really didn't want to take a chance on a guy who might not want to give up a championship in order to do so. As I said, Burns is the reigning GSW champion, winning the title a year and a week ago off of Ed Stringer Lewis. Assirati has been in many of the alignments of GSW. He was the European champion. He debuted in year 3, and he and George Kidd traded the European title back and forth. So we're just about ready to go. One fall, 60-minute time limit from Honolulu, Hawaii. Aloha. Yeah, there's the bell. Burns the champion, Assirati the challenger. Assirati turns the tables and reverses a chance for Burns to go for a hold. Legal elbow by Assirati, so he gets the first move in this bout. Assirati being looked at the referee for a DQ, but nope, it was stopped. Flying punch off the ropes by Assirati, and Burns is now giving up the first two holds. Body slam? No, Burns just a little too slick for that, and he moves away. Burns goes for a submission, and Assirati slips away from that. Submission hold attempt by Assirati, but Burns slips through that. You're going to see a lot of moves and counter moves in this bout, I would think. We're 2 minutes into it. And a submission check for Assirati as he has a body scissors on, but Assirati just way too strong. There's 240 pounds in his career, about 240, 245, but he was very powerful. So you're not going to get him that early on a midsection body scissors. And again, another submission move by Assirati, countered by Burns. Choking by Burns. Not too happy that he's been getting the worst of it so far. A legal choke. And that's a 5-point loss of stamina. Stamina is about even at this point. You start at 0. You can gain points very rarely, but most of the time you're losing points and losing points and losing points, and you're getting weaker as the match goes along. Neck hold by Burns, 7 points. A little pushing and shoving now. Both men, I don't think they have faced each other too many times. I don't really keep stats of who faces who in my GSW matches, but I am hard-pressed to think of, maybe they have faced each other one time, and maybe that's been it, but I don't remember them ever facing each other, but I could be wrong. Somebody on the Delphi board will show me where I'm wrong if I am. Also, a special hello to Utah Mike of the Sports Time Machine for his wonderful words of wisdom. The first bout I did between Burns and Andre last week. Back to the match, illegal headbutt. Assirati headbutts Farmer Burns to the jaw. He likes using that head, using that noggin of his, and that's 5 points off, so we're dead even on stamina right now. Pinhold. Body press by Assirati, but it doesn't result into a hold that lasts long. 4 points off for Burns. Eye gouge by Assirati. That's 5 points more that Burns has lost. So Assirati with a slight lead at the 5-minute mark. It's like, does anybody remember who's leading after 5 minutes of the Super Bowl? Probably not. Assirati takes Burns down with a side headlock. 6 more points lost by Burns. Backslide by Assirati on the Burns, but that's not going to result into a pin. We'll just run it anyway for funsies. Legal choking by Assirati, so Assirati is on a roll here. Hair pull, and that's 4 more points lost. Oh, that gets the crowd mad in Honolulu. No action. Frustrations boil over a little bit, especially after that hair pull, and a little extra pushing and shoving occurs, and the referee steps between the two of them and say, "Hey, come on." Remember what they say on the marquee? It's wrestling. Neck hold by Burns, so that's the first move he's gotten in on a while. Assirati loses 7 points of stamina. Auto control loss. Back to Assirati. Face rake, but that was countered by Burns. Legal throw by Burns, 7 points. And a full Nelson, but that was not a long-lasting submission hold, 8 points lost. Assirati now becoming frustrated with Burns, and that allows Burns to stay in control. Legal arm hold, and now Burns slightly ahead on the stamina count. And a pin attempt onto Assirati. No sale there. Legal speed moves, just sticking and moving and just trying to keep Assirati off balance, as we have now moved past the 10-minute mark, 10:43 to be exact. Arm drag takedown by Burns, that's a 7-point loss. Neck hold by Burns, so he's racking up the damage points onto Assirati. Specially moved chicken wing, but it's not going to result in a submission, as you'll see there, because Assirati's third submission number is 0, which means there is no magic bullet in wrestling's finest where a 0 is going to get you a submission. And we continue on. Backslide by Burns. 1 in 20 chance of that being a pinning combination. No, sir. We move on. Body slam by Assirati, but Burns slips out. Burns usually weighed in under 200 pounds in his wrestling days, but had the skill and the technique to be a world champion in GSW. A neck hold by Burns, and Assirati slips away, so it was countered. We go back to Burns, a legal headbutt by Assirati after he gained control, but that was countered by Burns. Specially moved by Burns. Oh, this time a spinning toe hold. It has a 1 in 8 chance of succeeding. 5 chances in 40. No submission. Spinning toe hold. And he uses the spinning toe hold as a pinning possibility, whereas other wrestlers like the Funk Brothers would use it as a submission. Most famously, Terry Funk Harley Race in 1977 at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto to win the NWA Championship with the spinning toe hold. Burns clamps the body scissors on, but that's not going to be a submission. But it's definitely wearing down Assirati to where he is now down about 70 points in damage. Neck twist onto Assirati, and that was only a 2 in 40 chance of succeeding. It did not. We go on. 16 minutes gone by now. Legal throw by Burns. Burns has Assirati off his game. Inside step over, leg lock onto Assirati, and that's 8 more points off the board. Hammerlock by Burns. So Burns just given Assirati all he could handle in terms of a technical wrestling lesson, and that's 7 points off the board. Legal throw, but this time Assirati counters it and has control. Legal throw by Assirati in the counter, and that's 6 points off of Burns. Legal punches, but countered by Burns. Burns has another pin chance here on Assirati with the arm twist, and that will not do. We're 18 and a half minutes gone by now. Specialty move coming up. Spinning toe hold. This could be it. There you go. Submission hold. And a painful spinning toe hold on Assirati, and he makes him tap out right then and there. So in 19 minutes and 46 seconds, Farmer Burns once again retains the GSW World Heavyweight Championship by submission over Assirati, and not too many people could say that they have made Assirati tap out. We will check for any post-match skirmishes. Assirati attacks Burns, but no injuries. Assirati had to be very frustrated after having tapped out, hobbling a little bit on the leg that was damaged by the toe hold. But Burns is going to walk away as World Heavyweight Champion going into his next defense, which should be in the North region against, I believe it'll be against Adrian Adonis, looking ahead to the schedule. Yeah, he'll be facing Adrian Adonis in Minneapolis, while Bert Assirati will just be another one of the contenders who fell at the hands of Farmer Burns. Hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Enjoyed bringing it to you. I wish you all well wherever you may be and whenever you see this. And we'll be back next week. In fact, we should be back in a few days because Farmer Burns' next title defense will come early next week. And this has been Big Paulie coming to you. So long for now, everybody.